to actually congealed, synthesised all what's going on around the world. That was our aims, and you may have seen that document. They are the questions that we posed. And one of those was how we're going to define the curriculum. Why is it important for students to know geography? And I'm not going to read all those to you, but they are the questions which we posed to the forums. The two research writers we employed, that was their brief. Can you come up with background on those things? And we needed to also look at those perspectives. The ICT, spatial technologies. I think civics and citizenship are going to be a place, citizenship in particular, is going to live in geography and history. The word doesn't appear in the science curriculum, it appears once in the history curriculum. It appears not at all in the English and maths curriculum, in their background papers. So citizenship is critical to geography. Futures orientation, what's the world going to be like in the future? There's phase one, or stage one, background report, and that was who wrote, what we looked at. We looked at international research, what's happening around the world, surveys. Now this PowerPoint we put up on your website and you can go through and have a bit more detailed read of it then. Steering committee, as you can see, it's a mixture of IAG people, Nick Hutchison from AGDA, Alaric Maud from Institute of Australian Geographers and the Royal Geog Society. We went around Australia. I didn't. The two writers we employed, they went around Australia running consultation forums in every state, and we did 2 of them. And hundreds of teachers were involved. This is the impressions these consultation forums gave. The impressions. We're only working on impressions at the moment. Lucy's job in ACARA, of course, with reference group and other writers to turn those impressions hopefully into what the curriculum looks like. But we want a content. The word content is continually an area of great debate. Do we want content? What is content? Is it concepts? The other debates they've had in history and other debates we'll have in geography. But we want students to learn both physical and human geography. Flexibility of study core week. Well, do we? Do we want to be told what we have to teach? In South Australia we say no, we don't have any content. We purely have concepts, outcomes and skills. We don't have any content. Other states have a bit of content, apparently. So do we want that? There's the tensions across Australia, and that's not being critical in any way. You might be right. Progression of each student's geographical learning appropriate to their level of schooling. Makes sense. We want an inquiry, or the impressions were, teachers said, we want an inquiry-based approach that investigates key questions about geographical topics at a range of scales, global, local, national. We want a selection of content that demonstrates relevance and clear links to students' future lives, including their employment opportunities, development of positive attitudes and values to the environment, sustainable development and cultural diversity. And can I just throw in there that we want a geography which is exciting and hopeful. And I talk about sunshine geography as opposed to doomsday geography. And maybe when people start teaching geography who aren't trained geographers, they know about global warming, they know about all those really scary things, which they are. And that's what they'll throw in as their geography. That gear is important, but I believe we firstly have to have awe and wonder and exploration and excitement about the world. And then let's look at how that's been threatened. But let's not start at that point. But that's a personal opinion, not the opinion of anyone else. Students' understanding is going through fieldwork. Fieldwork's important, and fieldwork's wonderful, and there's a great book out there on fieldwork, which has just come out. We were stunned, and I'll be honest, at first I thought, oh yeah, I don't know if we'll get much feedback. There was an amazing level of interest. There's geographers out there who really wanted to put input in. We had an enormous amount of online communication on our website, much more than we ever dreamt of. And we got people to our forums who were passionate, energised and excited about it all. So it's really positive. Background report writers, and you might know these chaps, Rob Berry and Roger Smith, one experienced teacher educator at university level and one an experienced teacher of 30 or more years in geography in Victoria. Did the background report. We then presented that report to ACARA on June the 30th. We were going to do it September this year, but then ACARA dropped a really tight timeline on us, and poor old Nick had to work his heart out until we went overseas to get that done. So we presented that on June the 30th this year. So ACARA's got our report, and again, you can get that report. The website still active, so you can go on the website, have a look, what's up there, download those reports. You can either feed directly into Akara, or if you do want to feed to us, you can feed into this website, then we'll pass it on to Akara, unless it's abusive and horrible. I don't want to upset anyone. But even then, we'll pass that on too. So we'll also send updates out to you. So if you register on that website, we will keep you informed. Two key terms comes down to: what is geography, defining geography, which seems a silly question because we know what geography is, but we have to delineate it, and how and what should be delivered in this national curriculum. It's also presumed certain things. We'll have competent geographers and plentiful geographers to deliver it. I know in South Australia we've got enormous troubles with that because we've got a dearth of geographers. Because we've been on split personality on society, environment, curriculum managers. Society environment is really important. I'm geography chair, geography is more important. So in South Australia, society environment's virtually killed geographically trained teachers in schools. So we've got to retrain people, we've got to get people up to date with what geography is. Government funding we need to prepare students to become geographically literate citizens and the value of geographic understanding. That's what the report headings are. I'm not going to go through the report with you, you'd be relieved to know. But the headings are very comprehensive and I think it's very good, but I'm biased. The AGDA website, we're running a conference in South Australia, in Adelaide. You know, people say Adelaide's boring, but it's not. The conference won't be. The 2011 AGDA National Conference in Adelaide, and it's going to be called Geography Going National. That's going to be the year before the curriculum is rolled out. It's going to be when the curriculum has been written, won't it, Lucy? Generally. And it'll be a really important time for us to pull all that together and in-service people talk about the implications. Just finishing off before I hand over to Lucy. We all know what geography is, but do other people know? The need to delineate and enunciate what is geography to the didn't spell geography right, sorry. I did this early this morning. To the geographer, all right? I'm going to go through those bits. That's just a couple of pages on the definition in the report, which is really interesting, and concepts. What are the concepts? Now, we'll have some questions in a minute, but I'm going to, at this stage, we're really lucky to have Lucy working in Akara, and Lucy's going to give you the Akara message from that level. And then we'll get back to answer some of these questions, or talk about some of these questions. There we go.
Yes, I'm going to give the Akara message, but first of all I'd just like to acknowledge how fantastic it was to have the geographers. Geography is the only subject area in the curriculum that actually people, you know, the teachers got active and got organised and presented a collective position. So I was really fortunate to arrive at Akara, and here I've got a fabulous detailed background report and a position paper from the three main bodies of geography teachers, academic geographers in the country. So we are the only subject that has done that. So that's pretty impressive to begin with. The other thing I'd like to say, before I sort of talk more, is about how exciting it is. This is the first time that this has ever been done in the world, a K-12 geography curriculum. All done at once. The UK certainly revised their curriculum